Hey guys, I'm here in the shop today for another Surly update video. If you watched our previous Surly update video, we told you about 5 new Surlys, but today I've got 3 more in the shop to show you. I'm going to tell you what's changed. I'm going to tell you what stayed the same, so check that out. But also stay tuned till the end because we're going to reveal a new Surly project bike that we are going to start on. So I'm going to tell you about that at the end of this video. And lastly, let's get the conversation started. What do you think of these new Surlys? Tell us below in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. But without further ado, let's get going on 3 new Surlys. Check it out. All right, so let's talk about the Surly Preamble. The Preamble came out in 2022, and it's Surly's most affordable bike. In my view, it sort of replaced the Crosscheck. It has a similar geometry, some similar characteristics. However, the Crosscheck was a rim brake bike, whereas the Preamble has disc brakes. So the Preamble came out with 2 different versions. It has a drop bar version that I'm going to talk about in a minute, and the flat bar version, which you see here. So Surly recently upgraded the flat bar version. I have the previous version behind me. The previous version was a color called Skyrim Blue. So they have upgraded the color to a new color called Best Buds Green, but that's not the only change. They also made a few other significant upgrades. The first being the drivetrain. So the old version came with a microshift Acolyte 1x8 drivetrain, and this bike has a Shimano Q's 1x9 drivetrain with the Shimano Q's shifters. To me, a great upgrade. The other significant upgrade is the brakes. The old version had the cable actuated Avid disc brakes, whereas this one has the Tektro hydraulic disc brakes. So another big upgrade. Unfortunately, along with those upgrades came a price increase. The older version was offered at $899, whereas the new Preamble flat bar is $999. Still a great value at that price. You're getting a great bike for under $1,000. So if you're looking for your first Surly, this would be a good option. But before we wrap up the Preamble, let me talk about the drop bar version of the Preamble. All right, so here we have the drop bar version of the Preamble. Same frame as the flat bar, but this version has a 1x9 microshift Marvo LT drivetrain with the microshift R9 shifters. This bike has not been upgraded. So this is the original version of the drop bar Preamble, and it's a color called Thorfrost White. So when this bike came out, it was $1,199. However, Surly just announced a sale on this bike, so you can now pick this bike up for $999. So for the same price as the flat bar Preamble, you can get one of these drop bar Preambles. In my mind, it's one of the best deals going. My guess is this will only last while the supplies last. Once they're out of these, my guess is they'll have a new version of the Preamble drop bar that's going to revert back to the original around $1,200 price. So if you want a great deal on a Surly, Preamble is a great option, but especially with the sale they're running on the drop bar version. We do have these in stock. We can also order them if the size you need is available. So check it out. All right, so let's talk about the new Surly Krampus. So in front of me here, I have the new rigid fork Surly Krampus in the Chester copper pot color. So if you're not familiar with the Krampus, it's Surly's 29-inch mountain bike. It comes in the rigid fork design that you see here. It also comes in a suspension fork model. In our previous Surly update video, we talked about the suspension bike. So in this video, I'm going to tell you all about what stayed the same, what changed on the new rigid model. So behind me here, I have the previous Surly Krampus rigid fork model, and it is in a British racing green. So obviously they've updated the color. Along with that, they updated the sticker design. The previous version used sort of the standard Surly sticker, but this one has this new design, which I'm not sure what they call it, but it looks great. I think it just kind of helps offset the bike a little bit. It really looks sharp on this bike. So what stayed the same about this bike is, first of all, the drivetrain. So they've kept the Shimano Dior 12-speed drivetrain, so no changes there. But what changed is interesting. First of all, they've gone from a cable-actuated disc brake. The previous version had Avid BB5s, and they've changed to a Tektro hydraulic brake. So I think you're going to see that across a lot of the different bikes is they're going from cable actuated to hydraulic, which I think for most people, that's a really good upgrade. One other thing that changed is the fork. So they've gone from the previous fork, which had sort of an offset mounting point, and the older fork design, to the new Surly dinner fork design, which has the inline mounting points. And they've also, with that, changed the way the front rack mounting points work as well. So I think the new design really cleans up the look of the fork, and I think provides plenty of functionality, plenty of mounting points. Some people are concerned that they've lost some mounting points, but technically I think we're about the same. But having that offset, I think, gave you the ability to mount a few more things. So some folks are not really happy about that. Me, on the other hand, I don't see that we've lost much at all. I think the new design looks a little bit cleaner, and I'm a fan. A couple other minor changes with this bike. The saddle changed. They went from a Sella Italia saddle that we saw on a couple of different Surly models back to the WTB Volt, which I was used to seeing on Surly's for years, so I'm glad to see that make a return. Otherwise, there's not a lot else that has changed here. I will say one thing that I do like about this bike, and it's true of most of the Surly bikes, you can buy this bike as a complete build, or you can buy a frame only. So you can get this bike in the Chester copper pot color with the fork as a frame only. But also, you can, if you don't like this color, you can get the other color, the Blue Oyster Coat, which is featured on the suspension bike. You can get that in a frame and fork as well. So you've got two colors to choose from if you do want to do a complete build from a frame up. I also looked, and a couple of the other older colors are still available in frames as well. So if you don't like either of these two colors, you still have some options. Limited numbers, of course, but that's also a good thing to look into if you are looking to build a Krampus from the frame up. So that's about all I have to say about the Krampus. We've got a couple of them in stock for you to take a look at, or we can order you one if you don't have your size in stock, so come check it out. All right, folks, so here I have the new Surly Karate Monkey. So if you're not familiar with the Karate Monkey, it's the other hardtail mountain bike that Surly has. The difference from the Krampus is that it has a 27.5-inch wheel size. Otherwise, it's spec'd out very similarly. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's changed. Not much. It's pretty much spec'd out like the older version. that I have behind me, but the biggest change obviously is the color. The old version has a color called Peach Salmon Sundae, and I would say most people either love that color or hate it. A little bit of a controversial color there on the previous version. The new version is a Lost at Sea blue, which is just a beautiful dark turquoise color. I think it looks spot on, especially with the white Surly sticker color. So I'm very happy with the new color. I think a lot of people are gonna like it. As far as what's changed, not much. It still has the Shimano Dior XT 1x12 drivetrain. They did make a minor change to the crankset. The old version was a FSA Comet. This one is a Shimano Dior crankset. The brakes are still Tektro hydraulic disc brakes, so no change there. And really everything else is pretty much the same. Same wheels, same tires, even the same saddle. It's got the WTB Volt, which is what it had on the previous generation. So not a lot of change. It's still the same great Karate Monkey, just mainly a color update. So I think this, along with the new rigid Karate Monkey and the new color, I think both of them look fantastic. So I think people will be happy with it, and I hope you like the new color. And that is it really for the Karate Monkey. Okay guys, what do you know? I was just getting ready to wrap up this video yesterday, and our UPS driver showed up with 5 more bikes from Surly, and it was these brand new bridge clubs. I knew they were planned, but I wasn't expecting them to show up when they did, and Surly announced the new bike yesterday, and so I thought I'd add it to this video. Cool thing is, it's a new bridge club, but not much has changed from the previous version. So the previous bridge club 27.5 inch version was a whipped butter color. This new one is black. So it is what they're calling Trevor's Closet Black. If you know, you know. No other changes. Shimano Q's drivetrain, 1x11. Same tires, same shifters, same brakes, same everything. This version, if you remember on the whipped butter bike, they added a kickstand mount. This one has a kickstand mount. So as far as I can tell, no changes other than the color. The whipped butter color is still available. So in traditional Surly fashion, you can get this bike in black or another color. They used to do that on most of their bikes. They've kind of gotten away from that. Mostly, I think, during the pandemic. So maybe we'll get back to that on some of their models, where if you don't like the current color, you can get a black version of the bike. That's now true of the Bridge Club, so check it out. All right, guys. So I told you I'd have a special announcement at the end of this video. Here it is. So it's starting to get cold here, which means we like to take on special projects. So last year, if you're following along on our YouTube channel, you probably saw our Building the Best Surly Bridge Club series. We're gonna do another version of that. This time, I've got a different bike. So we're gonna do a little unboxing here, show you what we got. All right, this is a Surly Midnight Special. in the fool's gold color. So if you watched our last Surly update, you saw this bike. In fact, it's right behind me. So they came out with a new fool's gold color, which I thought was stunning. The production bike is decked out in black components, and I wondered what it would look like to build one up with all silver components. So I have started to put together a parts list and started to order a couple of parts. So I've got a pretty good plan in place about what I'm going to do with this frame. And we're gonna do a Building the Best Surly Midnight Special series and walk you through the whole process. So on the Bridge Club, we took a complete Bridge Club and modified it, but in this case, we're gonna do a complete frame up build, starting with just the frame and the fork, which is in this box. And we're gonna walk you through the whole process, show you how we go through selecting the parts, kind of talk through what our goal is with the bike, probably do some trial and error to get it like we want it. But in the end, we're gonna have a 700C Surly Midnight Special that hopefully will be my personal road bike, or all-road bike, I should say. It's not technically a road bike, it's an all-road bike. So that's the plan. Can't wait to get started on it. We're gonna start filming in the next week or two and start putting this bike together. So I hope you enjoy this series. So thanks for joining us for this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to stay informed of what's going on at Ottawa Bike and Trail. Also, any of the bikes you saw today, the Surleys that we showed you, or any of the ones from the previous episode we've got on our website, you can check that out if you're interested in picking one up. And that's all for now. We'll see you next time.